Students line up to do their part in stopping the mumps outbreak.
Plus, Columbia is working out the kinks in a revamped bike sharing system.
And another downtown protest against the new president. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now.
Here's what's happening right now. A protest at a busy Columbia intersection is wrapping up. Good evening. I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. They're calling for Senator Roy Blunt to push for President Trump's impeachment. KOMU 8's Abby Breidenbach has been there since the protest got started. She joins us now live with an update. Abby.
Well, this protest here at the intersection of Broadway and Providence just actually wrapped up. I just went to their end of protest meeting. They were protesting, calling for Senator Roy Blunt to ask for President Donald Trump's impeachment. The crowd did grow to about 25 people. There were people on all four corners of the intersection. It lasted for about 3 hours long, and we did actually end up seeing one protester on the opposing side. He was saying, President Trump will make America America again. Now, I spoke with a protest organizer who said this protest has been more successful than past protests on this same intersection.
And there's a chance he may have had an influence on the election, by communicating with the Russians in that way. And it's a secret communication with his former security chief, for example. And don't tell me they're not connected and haven't been conversing with each other about it.
I reached out to Senator Roy Blunt. His response to the protest was, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence has been investigating this issue, and we will continue to do so. It would be completely inappropriate to draw any conclusions before we have all of the facts. Now, the protest was expected to last until just about 6 o'clock, which is when it ended just about now. Reporting live on the corner of Broadway and Providence, Abby Breidenbach, KOMU 8 News.
Governor Greitens announced his picks for the UM Board of Curators today. The first is Jeff Lehman, who served as Greitens' campaign finance chairman and a Missouri State University graduate. Second, Jamie Farmer is president of Farmer Holding Company and an MU Business School graduate. And Daryl Chapman, a former Mizzou linebacker and Mizzou graduate. He also started a program to expose kids to agriculture careers. The Missouri Senate still has to confirm these three appointees.
Since August, 370 cases of the mumps have been diagnosed in Columbia, and the number keeps rising. KOMU 8's Chris Joseph is here in the studio to tell us what health departments are doing.
The MU Student Health Center and the Boone County officials have just finished giving out MMR vaccines to MU students at Memorial Union. While the speed of the outbreak has decreased, officials have identified 40 cases in Columbia since the new year. Nurses from across Boone County were on hand to administer the vaccines from 10 this morning until just moments ago. Students say it's striking close to home.
I have a nephew who's just turned 1, and I'm going to be visiting him soon, and if I gave him the mumps, that would just kind of suck. So I figured, why not get the shot so that doesn't happen.
An official from MU Student Health says parents should make sure their children are up to date on MMR shots. In the studio, Chris Joseph, KOMU 8 News.
The city of Columbia filed a motion of intervention in a lawsuit related to the death of firefighter Bruce Britt. He died in a 2014 building collapse on the MU campus. MU and Britt's family reached a settlement, but the city says that should wait until its own lawsuit with the Britt family is reached. The city's been paying workers' comp to Britt's dependents. The city says it's concerned it will not be able to recover reimbursement for the workers' compensation benefits paid since Britt's death. The family filed a counter motion saying the city cannot intervene between itself and the university. The Board of Curators had us also filed for a different judge. 2 people are now hospitalized after their car overturned following a police chase in Boone County last night. The chase began when an officer noticed the car matched the description associated with burglaries. Police say officers tried to pull the car over, but the driver wouldn't stop. The car flipped over when spike strips were put down. One person is still in the hospital and the other's been released and transported to the Cooper County Detention Center.
Ferguson City Hall is under fire for using a Humvee in a DARE program. Critics call it insensitive because Humvees were used to control protesters after the police shooting of Michael Brown. Residents are also concerned because the program's mascot is named Darren the Lion, who shares the same first name with Darren Wilson, the officer who shot Brown. The police chief in Ferguson says the Humvee was chosen because it's an attention grabber and the mascot is used nationally and has no connection to the Ferguson shooting. St. Louis Mayor Francis Slay will be returning to his job as an attorney. He will join the Kansas City-based law firm Spencer Fain in April. Slay is not seeking re-election. He was an attorney in a private practice before he was elected mayor in 2001.
I hear we've got a warm-up on the way. Let's send it over to Kenton, who's got a look at the forecast for us. Hey, Kenton.
Hey, Brittany, thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Take a look at our day today, because this is a very seasonal day here in mid-Missouri, at least considering the time of year we're in. High temperatures here right into the 40s today. Our average is about 44, so doing well there. Low temperatures in the middle 20s, doing well there as well. No records broken, but we are going to have a chance for some records to be broken as we head into the end of the weekend, to the weekend. And next week, a heat wave is on the horizon. So if you thought it was bad out there today, it's going to be much better. And if you didn't think it was bad out there today, temperatures are only going to get warmer from here on out. We're at 43 in Columbia, 45 in Jefferson City. Winds very calm at this point. They're just from the west, about 5 miles an hour on average. And if we look at the next 2 days, we're already going to see this warm up in a big way. We're at 68 tomorrow. Remember, we're at 49 today. So 68 tomorrow, 71 on Friday, even warmer for the weekend and next week. I'm tracking that if we're going to break records. And look at some fire danger coming up after the break.
It's a new push for an old idea, getting more people up on two wheels in downtown Columbia. KOMU 8's Desiree Evans has more on a potential bike sharing program that could be added in the near future.
If the city decides to follow through with the project, this could be a potential bike sharing location along with other areas downtown. The city hasn't quite worked out all the kinks yet, and they're still in the beginning stages, but they're hoping to get more people pedaling. The city also tried the bike sharing location in the past, but people were taking the bikes and not bringing them back.
There's a common misconception about bikes.
Bikes are toys and they're for kids, or bikes are for people that wear spandex head to toe.
But that's not quite the case.
There's a lot in between there. There's a lot in between those extremes.
And the city of Columbia is in the process of creating a program that will help people realize that it's not one or the other.
And so I think a lot of it is sort of a social construct there, that that's what we've kind of been taught in the United States.
Through a bike share program.
Many communities such as ours have started to kind of adopt bike share systems, and they are a great way for communities to kind of help themselves get around.
And while this program could be seen as competition for bike shops,
it's going to create more potential bikers, that will eventually maybe need to buy a bike or buy some accessories or equipment. And so we don't see it as a threat or competition at all.
Nothing has been finalized by the city quite yet, but Benedict says that if the ride-sharing program were to occur, they'd use a bike that looks like this. It's called the step-through frame, where you can literally step through.
And before the city can put the program into place, there are several details that they'll need to step through.
Possible locations, possibly how many bikes to start with, how many stations to start with.
But if you're interested in biking before the program is put into effect,
don't bite off more than you can chew.
Simonson says the program will require you to pay to use a bike, and if the city gets on board with the program, it could take anywhere from 2 months to 6 years. Reporting live in downtown Columbia, Desiree Evans, KOMU 8 News.
Coming up after weather, Columbia flower shops are celebrating the day after Valentine's Day.
Welcome back to KOMU 8 News here at 6 o'clock. You're taking a live look over the Columbia Regional Airport on our first alert weather cam. We're seeing a lot of sunshine out there today, and heading back in studio, our average for this time of year is now turning into about 45 degrees. It's still not going to be close, though. We are at 68 here tomorrow with windy conditions, gusts up to 30 to 35 miles an hour, really bringing in this next heat wave. 71 here on Friday, 73 on Saturday as we go to about 30 degrees above average for parts of our weekend. 74 on Sunday, 76 on Monday. Just keeps going higher and higher. Not a roller coaster. We're just going straight on up. And if we go ahead and look at records, we're likely going to at least break and tie some records here. Saturday, temperature forecasted at 73. The record is 71 back in 1930. But check out next Monday, forecasted at 76. The record is 76 from last year. So we could break the 2016 record here on Monday. Otherwise, temperatures right now in the United States, we have this cooler patch here that we're just right on the edge of. We're going to see our winds, though, switch out of the southwest, so we're warming up with these warmer temperatures here for the next couple days, of course. Otherwise, satellite and radar, a lot of us not seeing much. A little bit of snow as you head over towards the Great Lakes region in the northeast. Otherwise, a little bit of rain over in the northwest, which is going to affect California here, certainly in the next couple days. But we are going to keep along with a lot of the sunshine and just warming conditions. So as we head into tomorrow afternoon, pretty much abundant sunshine, much warmer than today, about 20 degrees warmer. You can see some rain over there in California where they had the Orville Dam. They're going to be seeing more rain in that region where they've already been seeing a lot of flooding going on. Otherwise, then as we head into our day on Friday, we stay dry, we stay sunny as well. Even more rain over there, though, for California. Once again, they're definitely getting out of their drought region that they've been in for years now at this point. And then on Saturday, we're going to see a bit more cloud cover try to roll in, but a lot of this moisture will stay off to the south. And again, we're still going to be seeing temperatures in the lower and middle 70s throughout the entire weekend before we get possibly into the upper 70s by the beginning of next week on President's Day for Monday. 30 degrees overnight for that low temperature. Southwest winds about 2 to 8 miles an hour. A lot of clear skies expected. By tomorrow afternoon, we're at 68. Some lower 70s are going to be possible as well throughout mid-Missouri. And because we're also going to be very dry and windy with gusts up to 35 miles an hour, we do have a fire weather watch in effect all day on Thursday from the morning until the late afternoon till about 6 p.m. So it is recommended that you refrain from outdoor burning, as in these conditions, fires can spread rapidly. 71 on Friday, 73 on Saturday. And then again, temperatures continue to warm. Next week, though, we're still warm. Temperatures in the upper 60s and right around 70 even, with a slight chance for maybe 1/100 of an inch or maybe 1/10 of an inch on Monday and Tuesday next week. Here's the Weather IQ question for the day, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. In a study of 20,000 tornadoes, the average width of a tornado was found to be about 100, 140, or 210 yards.
Well, C's way too wide.
I'll say B.
I'll go with A.
It is B. 140 yards, which is about 0.8 miles.
A tornado
for an
question
average.
that I got right and Jim didn't.
What is this world coming to?
Kenton, thank you very much. After the break, a swim club hoping to make a splash and earn Columbia businesses some cash.
A swimming event next month hosted by the Columbia Swim Club could bring hundreds of thousands of dollars to the city. KOMU 8's Emily McCarter tells us more about the meet and how officials hope it can bring tourism to Columbia.
One swimming competition is looking to make a splash here in Columbia. Columbia Swim Club is currently preparing for a regional swim meet as part of USA Swimming. The president of the club says he's looking forward to what the event can do for Columbia.
I think that this kind of event really raises the awareness for swimming because the kids are so fast, and I think it really gives people a feel as to how fast kids can go and where they can go from here, whether or not you're going to swim in college or you just want to swim year-round.
The Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau chipped in around $10,000 for the meet, which will feature 13 to 18-year-old competitors, and it's hoping to see a big return. According to the CVB, it's possible the competition will have an economic impact of about $300,000.
This event should bring over 1,000 spectators plus 700 swimmers across 6 different states to Columbia. The Convention and Visitors Bureau says it could help grow Columbia's tourist industry.
They'll be staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants, shopping in our stores. So there's a really great economic impact behind this event. And also the Columbia Swim Club does a great job of hosting these events.
About 60 of the club's 250 swimmers will participate. They are training hard now to face some tough competition, including kids that have been to the Olympic trials. McConaughey says she hopes families that come for the event will consider Columbia as a destination for their future travels. Emily McCarter, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
The swim meet will be at the MU Student Rec Complex March 9th through the 12th. You can buy tickets on the Columbia Swim Club's website. We have a link to that on our website, KOMU.com.
Missouri and Alabama tonight at Mizzou Arena. Chris Trevino has a preview coming up.
Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
Welcome to everyone to Mizzou Arena, Norm Stewart Court, where tonight the Missouri Tigers look for their third consecutive home victory as they host the Crimson Tide of Alabama. The past 2 Saturdays, Missouri has beaten Arkansas and then Vanderbilt. And on tonight's call for the Tigers and Crimson Tide, none other than Tom Hart of the SEC Network. It's always good to see Tom, a Rockbridge graduate and Mizzou graduate. How special is it for you to come back and do these games occasionally in your hometown?
It's fantastic. My Bruins won last night. They knocked off Hickman. My mom's watching. Hi, Mom. Back at home tonight. So I love coming back here. I came to these games as a kid. I watched Kim Anderson as an assistant coach in all of Norm's team, so it's always a thrill for me to come back here.
And the Tigers are giving you a little more to talk about these days on the positive side. 2 wins in their last 3 games, the lone loss at Texas A&M and a close call. What do you think has made the difference for Missouri getting in the win column?
This is a really loose team. I saw that today at practice, and it's a different team than I saw a few weeks ago at Mississippi State. That losing streak really had everybody tense. So you knock off Arkansas, the monkey comes off your back, and what a difference that makes in a college basketball season. And we're at a point now in the year where I think teams that aren't as tight and don't have the chemistry that this Missouri team have will start to fall off. And there may be more wins for Missouri in the very near future.
Yeah, it could be a good game tonight. Avery Johnson, the former NBA guard and head coach, leads Alabama here. The Tide beat the Tigers by 12 in Tuscaloosa earlier this season. What about Alabama, and what'd you notice maybe in that particular matchup, the earlier game?
Well, I was really impressed with Terrence Phillips in that game. He had 3 threes. He's a guy that I think is key for Missouri, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. He's so important to this team, and he doesn't have to score a lot for them to do well. And Barnett's been playing remarkably well lately as well. But Alabama as a whole is not a very good offensive team. They can shut you down defensively, but they're not going to score a lot of points. They're not going to score into the 70s, so that's a great sign for Missouri. The key is what happens on the interior. Their front line may be the best in the SEC, especially with Florida's John Egbunu suffering an ACL injury last night. So if Missouri can find a way to contain that front line and try to keep them off the glass, things could go well for Mizzou tonight.
Right. Coach Anderson of Missouri talked about Alabama's length and rebounding ability. I think we may have a good game. We'll enjoy your call. I'll be here for the first half. I'm going to hear you down the stretch, so make sure you even it out all 40 minutes, Tom.
As long as you, industry term, go sound full on the highlights tonight at 10, I'll be good. You leave whenever you want.
We'll think about that. Thank you, sir. Have a good call.
My pleasure, Chris.
Tom Hart, Columbia's own Rockbridge graduate. He's on the call tonight. Mizzou and Alabama will have full highlights with or without the sound up full coming up tonight at 10, of course. We'll see you then.
It's the day after Valentine's Day, and local florists say this year was record-breaking. Because Love Day fell on a weekday, there were a lot of deliveries to work and school. The most popular flowers sold this year were oriental lilies, tulips, and, of course, red roses. Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, a shocking racial incident in central Missouri sparks controversy.
A special report from Lebanon coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock. Kenton.
A reminder to refrain from outdoor burning tomorrow. We're going to have high winds, gusts up to about 30 to 35 miles an hour, plus very dry air. So that combination can spread fire rapidly across the area. Otherwise, we're at 68 by the afternoon, and we're only warming up from there. We're in the 70s all weekend, even next week, just the rest of February.
Love it.
Record setting.
For multiple records.
Let's
Jim.
do
Heat
it.
wave.
Heat wave. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
Let's do this.